The Shark Deck.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. The Mirror reports Meghan Markle once reached out to Liz Hurley over her TV show The Royals, despite claiming that she later knew little about the royal family. After all, who in America had heard of obscure celebrities like Princess Diana or a concept like the Queen of England? As the media continues to go over Meghan's defunct blog, The Tig, a 2015 post shows that Meghan once interviewed Liz. Meghan wrote, "I have always loved everything about Liz Hurley, and when I realized she was going to be debuting on a new show, The Royals, I had to reach out to her." Diana also had some thoughts on Meghan's research or possible lack of research. What Meghan should have done at some point before the College of Arms started working on her royal cipher is to have spent all of 10 minutes Googling at some of the outings that Diana logged in her first 18 months as a princess. Take a wander through the archives from 1981 and 82 and you will find Diana repeatedly being trotted out to meet crowds in Wales, at times in the rain visiting such thrilling places as a London radio station and a maternity ward, attending a formal lunch with the London Lord Mayor, having to enjoy the Isles of Scilly, wandering around Liverpool Cathedral and getting sent off to such exclusive locales as Huddersfield in Yorkshire and a social services centre in Wandsworth, South London. Look, she also got to have the E.T. premiere and a Barry Manilow concert too, but you take my point. It would take the better part of a decade of tedious graft on Diana's part for her to carve out the royal career she wanted and to begin to acquire her saintly halo. If only Meghan, who has a degree from an elite US university and ran a successful blog pre-marriage, had done her homework. If only she had Googled. If only she figured out that she could not skip the boring ribbon-cutting handshaking part. That it would not be possible to get to the bit where the UN Secretary-General is WhatsApping her in less time than it took for the Sussexes' wedding guests to get all fair trade confetti out of their hair. These days, Meghan is the mistress of her own fate, and she can breathe safely in the knowledge that no one can force her to open a new cardboard compactor or a ring road or a therapeutic paddling pool. Back in 2014, Kimberly Birch won a reality show called I Wanna Marry Harry, which tricked 12 American women competing to win over someone who they thought was the English prince. Time magazine referred to the contestants as America's most gullible women. The AV Club said the show was terrible, obviously. The Atlantic said the show made them sad. And The Guardian wondered if it was perhaps the worst reality show concept of all time. Birch told Insider, "At the time, it was just something that seemed so far-fetched for people," she said. "There was a lot of comments like, 'Did you really think that Prince Harry would ever actually date some nobody actress in America?' Then I remember hearing about the backlash that Meghan Markle got. She was just this B-list actress. She was a nobody, and now she's married to Prince Harry. For me, it's just so ironic. It was life imitating art." Palace Intrigue will be right back.
Hey, it's Jordan Ross Myers, the man behind Twitter's notorious Lee Radswell and Don Gunvalson. I'm inviting you to join me every week for the Pretty Corrupt podcast. Along with my co-host, reality casting director Stacey Noel Connor, and disgraced entertainment TV producer Nate Safer, we deconstruct pop culture's past, present, and future and probe the dark crevices of Hollywood, taking you inside the scandals, feuds, rises, and falls of society's rich and infamous. Alongside interviews with our celebrity friends and special guest hosts, everything is fair game on the Pretty Corrupt podcast. Every Tuesday on all streaming platforms and at storicmedia.com.
If your band is free the weekend of May 6th, could you let King Charles know? According to several reports, Harry Styles, Elton John, Robbie Williams, and the Spice Girls have all declined to perform at the coronation concert on May 7th on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Christopher Anderson, author of The King, says, "Not to worry. As far as lining up performers for the coronation concert, I wouldn't panic quite yet." Joss Stone is a friend of the younger royals and can usually be counted on, he shared. There is also a long list of American pop stars chomping at the bit to perform. Anderson pointed out that A-listers like Diana Ross, Alicia Keys, and Andrea Bocelli performed at the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee last year and would likely get invited back. They'd be crazy not to ask Madonna, who has a massive 40th anniversary tour this summer, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind the opportunity to perform for the King, so plenty of options. People are reading way too much into what really amounts to scheduling conflicts. It's highly doubtful that anyone would turn down the invitation to perform at the coronation. It's a singular moment in history and frankly just too massive a gig. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliam said that members of the British boy band Take That, as well as Kylie Minogue and Lionel Richie, are poised to make an appearance. Rod Stewart and Stevie Wonder are other names being floated. Fitzwilliam said, "An unforgettable moment from the Queen's Golden Jubilee was lead guitarist of Queen Brian May playing the national anthem from Buckingham Palace's rooftop. This was the dramatic opening of the concert, and it was a fantastic idea. During the Diamond Jubilee concert, the English pop band Madness transformed the facade of Buckingham Palace into their own terraced street and sang from its roof. Such moments make indelible memories. King Charles will want a coronation concert at Windsor, which is memorable in a very special way too." The coronation concert will also feature performers from the world of dance, and the King's love of the spoken word, especially of Shakespeare, will undoubtedly be reflected in the lineup. Tom Cruise is famously in love with Britain and visited the Queen at Windsor for tea, where he was allowed to land his helicopter on her lawn. Perhaps he could appear and read one of Shakespeare's sonnets. Royal expert Shannon Felton Spence added, "The UK is a global leader in arts and culture, so there will be no shortage of options from the British Isles. It would be amazing for the King to widen the net and feature performers from across the Commonwealth. It would showcase the diversity in art, faith, background and geography that the King has made so essential to his work. King Charles has a ton of goodwill in the entertainment industry. The Prince's Trust supports performers and often engages celebrities in its work. Many musicians have a real affinity for the King, so I am confident this doesn't reflect anything other than scheduling conflicts." Felton Spence admitted that the Queen is a tough act to follow. "The popularity of the Queen was in the zeitgeist. It was part of the fabric of British culture. She was a cultural icon, especially in her later years. The King does not have that same appeal, at least not yet." We'll let that "not yet" speak for itself. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Google, iTunes, and even now YouTube, if that's your podcast app of choice. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue. Good times.